It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and I. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and me.
Hey guys, this is your girl Paula, the queen from Queens with the money minutes matters. This is a talk show where you call me with financial questions and I'll give you financial answers. On this show, you and I become accountability buddies. We're accountable to each other. We walk hand in hand to eliminate debt, to help you maximize your financial future, and to optimize your health. We're here and we're going to do this together. It's the Queen from Queens. What I want to talk to you today, guys, about is the last chapter of the book that we're reading, The 5 Lessons a Millionaire Taught Me by Richard Paul Evans. So let's do a brief overview of what we've been discussing for the past 4 sessions. So chapter 1 said, decide to be wealthy. It's in here. All things are possible. It's scary, but do it afraid, as Joyce Meyer says. Take responsibility for your money. Know who, what, when, where, and why your money's going. Who am I giving it to? Why am I giving it to them? Do I really need this? Take responsibility for your money. Third, keep a portion of everything that you earn. Richard Paul Evans says the first 10% goes to you. I say get out of debt, take all the money that you have in addition to that 10% and save it for your future, whether it be buying a car, buying a house, paying for college, financing your retirement future, whatever your needs may be, or even your wants and your desires. Take responsibility, know where your money's going, and keep a portion of it. Keep a portion of everything that comes into your storehouse. Lesson 4 was winning the margins. What does that mean? Find additional ways to increase your income. Whether it means taking on the next job, not taking on another job to maintain your current household, but taking on a second job so that money can grow for you exponentially while you sleep. The last chapter is giving back. And Richard Paul Evans says, all you have shall someday be given. Therefore, give now that the season of giving may be yours and not your inheritors. He also talks about friends or foe. Ultimately, the most honorable and enjoyable use of money is serving others. He talks about balance sheets. He talks about financial karma. And there he says, will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have ye robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. Prove me herewith, if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall be room enough to receive it. And lastly, he says, the sin of the desert is knowing where the water is and not telling anyone. My favorite book says we must be a blessing to others. We're blessed to bless others. You have it, share it. Why not? This is COVID-19. People need our help. I have not donated so much money outside of church in years because there's a great need. We can do it. We can be all. So this is the end of our book. Those are the 5 lessons. I'm telling you, stick with me. We'll do our things together. It's the Queen from Queens. We have Annie from North Carolina on the line. Hi, Annie.
Hi, Queen. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I am just fine.
Good, good. What can I do for you today?
Yes, I would like to talk about or get your view on rental properties now that we're in this pandemic.
Okay. Now, when you say rental properties, are you looking to purchase rental properties, sell rental properties? What does that mean?
I'm looking for properties to purchase and then flip.
And flip. Okay. Okay, so let me ask you some questions about you. How old are you, Annie?
I am 45.
You're 45. And what's your household income?
$50,000 a year.
$50,000 a year. And do you have any debt, Annie?
Yes, Annie has some debt.
What are your debts?
My house is debt, my car is debt, and a few credit cards.
Okay. What is your car remaining balance on your car?
I have a year left, maybe 10.
10,000. Okay. What's your credit card debt?
That may be 2,000.
2,000. Okay. So you have credit card from anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 and credit card debt of 2,000. Now, Annie, are you actively working? Are you a construction worker? Are you a flipper? What's your profession?
My profession, I'm a school teacher.
You're an educator. Okay. Well, thank you for your service. I know this is a challenge for you with the pandemic and all. So,
thank you very much.
Have you been in the flipping market before? Is this new? Are you learning why flipping?
Say that again?
I said, why did you decide to flip?
I have some friends who have been doing it for a while, and I just see it's like a light at the end of the tunnel when you do this, because you're bringing in residual income that normally you wouldn't be bringing in.
Okay, that's fair. In my opinion. So how would you purchase a rental property? Are you doing this in cash? What are you doing? How are you paying for that?
I don't know. The best way to do it maybe would be cash.
Okay, do you have the cash to purchase a property?
Not fully.
Okay, let me, there are a lot of advantages and disadvantages of rental properties.
Okay.
I don't have any of my own, right? But let me say this to you. And my true belief is debt is a disease that can be cured. So if you're in debt, then for you to take on more debt to maybe gain money and have residual income, because it may not be so residual. And I tell you why, right? Because if you're looking to be in a position to flip the properties, you need to have money up front to pay for it. Because if you're taking out debt, paying interest to maybe make money, then you may encounter a lot more issues. One, I've built a home myself. So if you build anything, whatever your budget is, you need 30 to 50% more for incidentals that may occur. So you may think because of the market, it's going to flip at this rate. And because of COVID, the probability, just like in the market of 2008, 2009, there may be a lot more properties on the market, which means the value may go down. So you may think you're coming out making tens of thousands of dollars for each property, but you may be in a position where you may break even or maybe not. So if you're dependent upon something to pay back that loan, or you're dependent upon something to possibly give you income, you may be taking a loss. And if you decide to rent this property, then your mortgage is now dependent upon someone else. So with COVID, as you see, people who were not in a position to pay their rental agreements, they didn't have to pay, and you couldn't evict them. So the owner had to assume the loss. And what happens if something happens in that property that you have to repair? The heater, a refrigerator, the roof. You now need money to maintain the property if you decide to keep it and become the landlord of the property. It's a lot of factors that gets involved in all of that, Annie. As in any market, there's a lot of uncertainty. I want all of us to win. Remember, accountability buddies, we're accountable to each other's success. I want us all to be successful. There are risks. And in any market, whether you're gambling at some kind of casino, or if you're investing in the stock market, or even if you purchase something that you think is going to go up in value like gold, silver, and copper, there are always uncertainties. But I'd rather you take a risk with money that you have that you can afford to lose than to battling with your financial future of your family. With that being said, I'm reading an article about flipping of homes, and it says, house flippers unaffected by the pandemic face uncertainty. And this article is found in U.S. News and World Reports. It says, Chicago area residents who have made careers out of flipping foreclosed and decrepit homes for profit says the coronavirus pandemic that's hurt many businesses haven't had much impact so far on house flipping. Andy Goldman, whose family has been flipping houses since the 1980s, said his business has been surprisingly unaffected by the pandemic. The future is so hard to predict, Goldman said. It's just up to seeing what the economy is going to look like, The coming months will show the full impact on the market through 2020 and beyond, according to Todd Theta, Chief Product Officer at the real estate research firm of ATTOM Data Solutions. The June report at ATTOM shows that 7.5% of the houses sold in the U.S. in the first 3 months of 2020 were flipped houses. That figure is the greatest rate since 2006 and a spike from the end of last year. But Theta explains that it is still too early to fully understand the pandemic's impact on the market. Profits are down and are lower than they've been since the dark ages following the Great Recession. Theta told the Chicago Tribune, enter now the coronavirus pandemic, and the prospects of house flipping are notably uncertain at least in the short term. So it goes on to say there's a lot of uncertainty. There's uncertainty in anything, but I don't want my last caller or any of you to take out additional debt in order to potentially make money. If you're going to invest, take all the money you have that you can afford to lose and invest it in any vehicle that you find that you've done your research on and it can be profitable for you. That's my take on all this. Let's get back to the show. We have Rebecca from Maryland on the line. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Paula.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so happy I finally got you. You know, I've heard you on EHA 1023 radio. I also saw your YouTube video. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you for following. What can I do for you today?
I'm calling because I have two financial situations.
Okay.
The first one is I received a call from my retirement specialist advising me that now would be the best time to increase within my 401k portfolio. And Paula, I was a little apprehensive because with everything that's happening now and the market is up and down, I've been watching it. So I'm just, I would like to know, is it really a good time to increase my 401k portfolio? And secondly, I have a mortgage payment. I just about bought the house. I've been in there 2 years now. Because of what's happening with the pandemic and everything, I did not know that my mortgage was put on a 3-month furlough. So I called them, and they said they did it for my protection. And I was a little bit shocked. So I was like, okay, because my mortgage payment is up to date. So I'm thinking, should I take that furlough for the next 3 months and hold on to that money or continue to pay into my mortgage? So that's where I am. Thank you.
Okay. No, that's awesome, Rebecca. Okay, so quick questions. Let's talk about you first. Now, Rebecca, how old are you?
I am 51.
You're 51, and you're investing in your retirement, yes?
Yeah.
Your 401k. So at 51 years old, you can put in $26,000 a year. Are you maxing out?
Okay.
Are you putting in $26,000 a year?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
So tell me, do you have any debt in addition to your mortgage?
I do have debt. I have a car payment. I also have 2 credit cards, and I have the Money Monster student loan.
That's a thorn in my side. Student loans. Okay. So how much is your car loan debt?
Okay, right now I'm at $8,800 that I owe.
Okay, and how much of that do you pay per month? Do you know? What's your monthly payment?
I'm paying $290 exact monthly.
Okay, and you have 2 credit cards. What's your credit card total amount, your debt for credit cards?
The total of the credit cards is $6,500 combined.
Okay, and your student loan debt, how much is that?
Oh my God, the student loan debt, it's about I want to say roughly 65,000. I went towards, I got the master's, and the more you do with your education, the more money, and it just adds up, and you don't see it, so you don't think about it until you finish, and you're like, wow.
Okay, so you're hilarious, Rebecca. So tell me, how long have you been out of school?
I just got my master's. I graduated last year in August. I received my master's degree. So, when you're in the school, you don't think about you're racking up on the student loan until it's over. And then you're like, wow, that was one expensive education.
Well, let me tell you something. I am proud of you because you were in school at 50 years old. You had a goal, you had a dream, you set it out to complete it, and you did it. So congratulations. I mean, that alone says a lot because you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to do something different. So I applaud you. Student loan debt, I hate, but nobody sees how much it's putting a big dent in our financial futures because we're doing it, we're achieving our goals, we're completing our classes, we're getting our degrees. So in the end, when it all comes out, we think, oh my gosh, now I have this big weight on my back. So yes.
Yeah.
So you have student loan debt of $65,000. You have credit cards of $6,500. You have a car payment of $8,800. And what's your household income?
My household income is a little over $60,000.
$60,000 a year. Okay. So your question to me is, do you increase your 401k contributions?
Right.
Now, and as I said to you, at your age, 51 years old, you can put in $26,000 a year. Keeping it in the market is important. Why? Because your dollar now can do more. So had you not been in debt, I would say to you, absolutely. But it's more important that you get out of debt. Why? Because you're amassing so much interest debt that the money that you may make in the market may not offset it. And at your age, if you're looking to retire in the next 10, 15, 20 years, you can't go in with all that. You have almost $80,000 of debt. So you don't want to be in a situation where $80,000 is laying on your back for the next 20 years. Not including interest, right? So your last question is about it's not called a furlough. Furlough is when you've been furloughed from your job for a period of time, for whatever reason, but you were talking about a forbearance.
Yes, forbearance.
Exactly. So you are allowed to take a forbearance because, let's just say, you have some financial difficulties because of the pandemic. You need you're not working, there's an interruption in your income, etc. Well, for the banks, they're doing a wonderful job because people need to be in a position to buy their essentials. But the interest still accrues. Now, there's multiple ways you can pay that off. They may give you the option of, at the end of the 3-month term, you can pay all of the money at one time. They may give you an installment plan. Well, if your mortgage was $2,000 a month, maybe you can pay an additional $300 or $400 a month over a period of time. They may say to you, well, we'll tack it on to the end of your 30-year mortgage. Meaning, if you have a 30-year mortgage, now you have 30 years and 3 months. And if you continue to have economic impact because of COVID, well, then they may say, let's restructure, refinance, change your interest rate, something to that effect to make it beneficial for you to stay in your home. But you're saying to me your income has not been interrupted by COVID.
No, it has not.
Okay, so let me strongly suggest to you that you do not take the forbearance. That you focus very aggressively. Your car payment's only $290 a month. Look at your budget. If you go on my website, Robert's Target Financials, I have a really good budget sheet there. Look at your budget, condense everything down to the necessities, and then aggressively pay off your debt. And if you get rid of this in the next 4 to 5 years, then for the next 10 years, you can focus on how to invest the best way for your retirement. We have downtown Theo Brown from Chicago on the line. Hey, Theo.
Hey, Queens of Queens, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for calling. How are you?
Great. Finally got a chance to be on your show. I'm so excited. How are you?
I'm good. Well, listen, I follow you on Facebook Live every Tuesday, so I appreciate you as well. Thank you for calling.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it too. I've gotten a lot of places with your advice. I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I tell you what, I've never been to Chicago, and thank you for inviting me to be on your show. But I do hear that I must take a Lake Michigan boat ride to see the architecture.
Yes, it is fabulous. They have a taxi ride that goes from Chinatown all the way in the heart of the city. It is beautiful, and we have one of the best skylines in the world.
I'm from New York. Sorry. And my pizza's better, too.
Mine isn't small in New York, but anyway.
Yeah, but my pizza's better. The water's better. The bagel's better. But what can I do for you, Theo?
Hey, listen, I'm interested in knowing something about taking out a loan from a 401k, and interested to know but here's the situation. Well, say it was $45,000 from a 401k, and I want to take it out to pay off some credit card debts, which are hitting me for anywhere from 18 to 20%. And the question becomes, if I don't make my payments on time, my interest rates will rise. So here I have an opportunity to take out a loan, possible loan from my 401k with no 10% tax penalty because it's just a loan. I hope I'm not talking too fast. And I want to be able to pay it back versus the high tumultuous debt at 20 to 18% impossible. Like I said, missing a payment and stuff. So I'm really suffering in debt. What do you think about that?
Well, Theo, you have such a radio voice. You have a great voice. But outside of that, let's talk about you first. So you said you have a credit card debt of $45,000?
No, I have a credit card debt. I want to take out 45. Yeah, so yeah, 45,000. Yes.
So you want to take out $45,000 in a 4K loan for what? Credit card is equal to how much?
For credit card, yes.
How much is your credit card total debt?
My credit card total debt is about $20,000.
$20,000. Any other debt?
Yeah, car loan at $25,000.
Your car loan's $25,000. So that's your $45,000 you want to take out.
Right.
So Theo, let me ask you this: how old are you?
I'm 55.
You're 55, and you're looking to retire in the next 15 years or so, at the age of 65, 70?
Yes.
So let me talk to you about the CARES Act and taking out money out of your 401k. And yes, there is a provision made for that. And the provision says that you can take $100,000 or your entire amount if it's less than $100,000 with no 10% penalty. That's what you were talking about. But it does still accrue interest, and you still need to pay it back. So what the federal government said was that you get 3 years to pay it back. Meaning, if you can take that $45,000 and put it back, there will be no taxes to pay. But if you take it out as a loan, whatever your tax bracket is, 25, 30, 35%, you still have to pay that back. So it's not a gift. But let me tell you why I do not like the idea of taking out 401k loans. Okay, because you're going to have to retire at some point. So the market right now sucks. Last year in my 401k, I think my average gain was about 13%. I have people I know who gained 18%. A really good friend, a client, she gained 20%. But if you're going to retire in 15 years, it's like, I'm from New York, so we have apple trees. We're the big apple. We have apple trees. If you have a big apple tree in your front yard that's been producing for you, big, beautiful, red, delicious apples, well, right now, that apple tree is not doing very much. Ergo, the market's not doing very much. Right? Things looking pretty withered and worn and so what do? How do you get in a position where you pay off your debts using that apple tree which is in your front yard that's not looking very good? Well, if you take the apple tree and you rip it out of the soil, then it will never produce again. So if you take all the money out of your 401k, even $45,000, that $45,000 will be ripped up from the soil and it'll never produce apples. But if you get over the bad period where your apple tree is looking weathered and worn, and let's say if you fertilize it, you prune it, you water it, at some point within the next year or so, that apple tree can reproduce for you. So think of that the same way of taking the money out of your market. But if you take it out, it'll never gain back. So it appears to be a gift for you because you have these high interest rates credit cards. But very honestly, you'll never have that potential growth. And retirement is right over around the corner for you. It's right over the horizon. So if you do that, then you're putting yourself in a position where retirement may be difficult for you. I suggest two things. One, that you go on my you go on my website, Robert's Target Financials, download my budget sheet. Get on a budget, squeeze every dollar you can, and aggressively pay off your debts. I also have what's called a debt payment sheet where I suggest you put 10 to 20% of your take-home pay in as a target amount and start aggressively paying down your debts from the smallest amount to the largest amount. Just keep hitting them. Secondly, what I can say to you, which I very rarely recommend, if you refinanced your credit cards to an interest-free credit card for 18 to 24 months, yes, there's a fee associated with it, so I hate recommending that. But the amount of interest you're paying per month is probably several $100s that you're giving away in money. So if you choose to take that credit card debt, lump it onto another one, 18 months, and aggressively hit that, and after your credit cards are done, aggressively hit your car, within the next 4 to 5 years, you can be completely done. Okay, so I wouldn't touch that apple tree in the front. I don't know what you grow in Chicago, but we grow apple trees in New York. Thanks.
What about last question? If I could ask one.
Sure, of course.
What about if I open up an IRA and put in $6,000 for the next 10 years? This way, I'll end up having a tax advantage retirement that I built up now, and I'll catch back up on the money that I've taken out. Okay,
so you're talking to me about maybe doing a Roth IRA?
Yep.
Okay.
I want to put $6,000 in there every year for 10 years, so I'll be able to catch up with the money that I've taken out of last apple tree.
I love Roth IRAs, right? But again, you can't save if you're in debt. Why? Because the growth that you're growing, even if your Roth IRA gives you this year overall 8%, on average 10%. Well, 10% of $6,000 is $600. You're paying $400 to $500 a month in interest. So you're paying, if you're paying $4,000 a month, that's going to pay $4,800 a year. So almost $5,000 a year you're giving away to just gain 10% on your $6,000 at $600. So you're giving away $5,000 to gain $600. It's not balanced. Now, yeah, it doesn't work. The numbers never match up. I don't care how much you say you have in savings. If you're saving in a regular savings bank and you're gaining less than 1%, well, 1% of $6,000 is $60 a year, but you're amassing debt and interest payments are accruing, then you're stuck. You're busted. You're not benefiting. Only the banks win. Ending this show is never easy. We had some amazing callers. And if I can help 10 people with the conversation that I'm having with one person, then I've done my job. We had an amazing caller on here who's talking about taking some money out of his 401k to use now to pay off debts. But had he done that, then with the markets that's soaring now in the 401k mutual fund market, he would be losing. I talked to another caller who wants to flip homes. Flip homes, do whatever you can. People need beautiful homes. I just don't want people to take risks that they can't afford to lose. Lastly, we talked to a young lady who's talking about maybe doing a forbearance on their mortgage, but financially she's still stable. Keep your money where it is. For those reasons, I want to continue to impact us. I am hosting my first financial conference. Check my commercial out.
Have you heard?
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 Are you financially hungry? Save the date, February 20th, 2021. We're hosting a free financial empowerment seminar. We're going to teach you how to get your piece of the money pie.
¿Has oído?
¿Has oído?
Hosted by Robert's Target's Financials.
Okay, tell me what you think. Did you see the power in all those people forming that piece of the pie? Have you heard? Have you heard? No, have you heard? This is it. We're hosting a free financial conference. We're going to teach you how to get your piece of the pie, how all of these CEOs, CFOs, businessmen, these powerhouse professional athletes, our own Eddie OJ from EAJ1023radio.com, we're going to cut this up for you. We have a humorist, we have a vocalist. This conference is going to be like sitting in the Madison Square Garden for an all-day event. We're going to bring it to you because we want to empower you to do it. Each one can teach one. You can be what you can see. Success belongs to all of us. Nothing is impossible. Keep jamming with us. Stay tuned. I know that was only a savor date. I know Christmas is coming, so I don't want to overwhelm you. But as soon as Christmas is over that weekend, I'm going to flood the markets with that commercial and the commercials on how to register on Eventbrite and how to join us on our Facebook page. Remember, faith conquers fear. Walk in it. Do it anyway. Oprah says, I can, I will. Watch me. Watch me do this in 2021. I love you. Have an amazing week. It's the Queen from Queens. It's the Queen from Queens.
Robert's Target's Financial is not a certified professional service of finances, brokers, accountants, taxes, insurance, or legal. We research the advice that is given to provide the most accurate, up-to-date information. This information is designed to work in conjunction with your information. All information is suggestions. We recommend that you consult with a trusted licensed professional for your specific decisions. All information is for general purposes. We are not liable for any losses or gains. We accept no responsibility for any decisions made after participating on or from listening to the show or from Robert's Target's Financials. If you like this episode, hit the subscribe button.